May I have your attention for a very important public service announcement? We are taking over the internet, and the United States champion of word wrestling entertainment has returned for another edition of the Pocket Locker podcast. I am your host with the most, all the way from the East Coast. And as always, folks, I am in airplane mode. All right, gang, let's go ahead and jump on into it. It's so good to see y'all here. Pragmatic Crystal. PC, I just can't say enough about PC. So good to see you here. Always working overtime. Logan Fisher's in the house. The Mang YouTube punk is here. Roland is here. Katina is in the house and accounted for. It's great to see y'all here. Let's go ahead and jump into it because tonight, boom, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, boom, in Gather, boom, link in description, boom, Game 5 of the NBA Finals. So we ain't gonna be here long because we might be crowning an NBA champion tonight, and we're gonna go ahead and touch a little grass and have a little fun tonight. So look, I'm here to just give y'all a little bit of an update. Again, a little bit of an extended public service announcement, you may say, to check in with our little friend Pinefreak Doug. And while you may think Doug's a piece of shit human being, why are we checking in on Doug? I would generally agree with that sentiment. It has become clear that Doug has actually, I don't even know if this was possible, but he's become even worse. So we're going to jump into that. I'm going to break that down for y'all, and then we're going to get up out of here. So first thing to understand is the J.K. Rowling effect that Doug is experiencing. First off, let me direct your attention over here to what is known as the Pine Creek Politics channel. You will notice, if I blow up Shuade a little bit here, that the Pinefreak Politics channel has not uploaded anything in the last 8 months. 8 months ago is the most recent video. 8 months ago is the most recent live. So you might be thinking to yourself, here we go. We don't have time for shorts, but who cares? All right, so you might be thinking to yourself, has Pine Creek just stopped doing politics? Because we know he's a conservative atheist, and he had moved his politics to the Pine Creek Politics channel, which was originally a bad thing, because those of you that really know, that have really been around through this fucking history of this bigoted asshole named Doug, know that this used to be the Pine Creek Poker channel. So it was problematic already when he converted his channel that used to be dedicated to sitting around watching him and his boys play poker over to his politics channel. But now he's basically given up on his politics channel. And now you'll notice that the politics have just become the focus of his main channel. So if you go to his main channel and go
Ms.
to
Robinson,
the homepage.
do you agree with Ms. Gaines that there's a difference between women and men?
If the question is about trans women,
I'm just asking, is there a difference between women and men?
what I can say is that the NCAA has rules in place. They've had rules in place for the last decade, and when this competition
Okay, I'm going to try again.
the rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes/no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Well, I think that we're talking about this case with the NCAA.
No, I'm asking a question. Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're
which
not
is
answering
different
that.
than
Let me ask
gender.
you this question then. Why do women's sports exist?
Oh, I'm simply saying that that sex
My
is different
question,
than gender.
why
and I do
do-
believe
why
that
do
women's
women's
sports
sports
have a great
exist?
value. I mean, Senator, I'll tell you right
Ms.
now.
Robinson, please answer the question I'm asking you.
Absolutely.
Why do women's sports exist?
I think that there are so many positive benefits to sports.
But
I mean,
why
we
have a
talked
separate
about it
category for
today.
women?
I'm saying that there's a difference between sex and gender.
Okay, now I have a question for y'all. What the fuck does that have to do with counter apologetics? Can anybody tell me? Can somebody tell me how that is supposed to be putting forth an atheist agenda somehow? Because what I'm trying to get y'all to do is I want people to stop with this fucking notion that Pine Creek is some sort of Socratic street epistemology genius. And he's making these meaningful contributions to the atheist community. And they're just so impactful and so fucking important that we need to create space for the fucking Dougs of the world to be part of this shit. Tell me how the fuck this Ted Cruz hack job has anything to do with any of that shit. Do you understand what I'm saying to y'all? It doesn't. That's the J.K. Rowling effect. Just like J.K. Rowling, this man has made this his dominant identity. He has made being a transphobe his entire fucking personality. Such to the point that when you go to his homepage and you get the short video clip that's supposed to tell you what you can expect here on the Pine Creek channel, you get nothing to do with atheism, nothing to do with counter apologetics, nothing to do with religion. Instead, you just get this transphobic vial that is literally pro Ted Cruz. He's taking the Ted Cruz side of this entire thing. Just absolutely ridiculous. Then you go over here to my man's videos, and this is what we're going to be getting into. But look at all this bullshit. Just a bunch of fucking right-wing bullshit. Here's more anti-trans stuff. More anti-trans stuff. Conservative shreds woke progressive. Is Andrew Wilson evil? Conservative torches woke progressive. All right. Look, what's this one? Pine Creek IRL, the sweetest MAGA supporter. Okay. Y'all getting the picture? Are y'all getting the picture? I might have one more for you. Where is his fucking endorsement of Trump? You know, we're gonna get his Trump endorsement because he's a fucking Trump supporter. Maybe we'll find this fucking Trump endorsement. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and switch all on over to this video we're gonna talk about real quick today. I totally fucked that up. Did not do that correctly at all. Oh, I know what I gotta do. Boop. There we go. Boop.
I had a question for you that I wrote down while you were talking, because you've worked a lot with detransitioners, right? So this is completely a new topic.
Yeah.
From your conversations with detransitioners, would you say that a lot of detransitioners would say now that being trans was a belief that was based on some type of socialization, or that they would say now, after detransitioning, that it was still some type of biological something?
That's a great question because that's what I focus on.
No, it's not a great question. It's a bunch of transphobic fucking nonsense, a bunch of cooning. And literally, this is no different than bringing black people on to say that the problems that the black community faces are a result of black culture and black ideology and all of this type of bullshit. Like, I'm not even finna sit here and do this. All y'all need to know is jumping into this whole detransitioning narrative literally on time for Pride Month is an effort to invalidate the experience of trans people. And it is just such a fuck you to the most marginalized group of people that you are going to take this one little period of time where we decide to center and focus on their issues, which needs to be something we're doing 365 days a year, because it's something y'all are doing 365 days a year. And you are going to take this opportunity to kick them while they're down and literally invalidate their entire existence by bringing on these people who, yes, there are some people who detransition, but what he's not going to be honest about is how ridiculously low that rate is, how that rate, even when you are talking about medical transition, is lower than the rate of other, routine medical procedures like knee surgery. They're both going to grossly overlook the actual reason why most people detransition, which we know is due to the discrimination and bigotry that they experience post-transitioning. And he's also not going to talk about how once many detransitioners are free of those pressures, like the lovely Arden Hart, they transition. Now that transition, it's a safer decision for them to make. They're in a better position to do so. But look, y'all know this is not my lived experience or my professional area of expertise, but y'all do know I'm a biologist, so I will say that these people misrepresent and are 100% wrong about the biology. And I will show up to just point at these people, point at their foolishness, most importantly, call out their bigotry and their fucking hatred for what it is, remind everybody that we have a moral duty to judge these people as the trash pieces of shit they are. Doug is trash, transphobic, racist, ableist, sexist, homophobe, all of that. That big umbrella of bigotry. Doug is all of that. A trash human being. And if you are one of those people who got sucked into his content as part of your deconversion or you're dealing with those issues, I understand. There's a lot of us in this chat that were in that boat too. We're sympathetic. We understand. We understand you may have found some cool people there, built your little community, but you cannot be a fan of this man. This man is trash. This man is a piece of shit. Laying down with this monkey, you will get up with fleas. I promise you. I promise you. That's what we're here for. It's not just to point and laugh at Doug. Yes, let's point and laugh at Doug, but let's be clear. We know a lot of people in our community are still fans. They still like to clap. They still want to cheer Doug on as he's doing the different things. Nothing a bigoted ass motherfucker like this has to contribute into this community is worth hanging on to. No, thank you. We know religion is not the thing we're down with. We can defend ourselves against it just fine without assholes like this. No quarter, y'all. No quarter. You are a Doug fan. You are supporting this man. You are getting down with this man. You are trash too, and it's time to do better.
No, I mean, I did a survey of detransitioners last year that I'm working on getting published, and one of the most important findings, I think, from that survey was that 85% said that their healthcare provider conceptualized their trans identity to them as a medical condition that required medical treatment or a biological aspect of them that they had no control.
Again, nope. No. People are not told that they have to transition and that that's the only option to them. Yes, they are validated when people try to tell them that biology says that they can't exist. We let them know that biology doesn't say that at all. But this notion that people are pushed into it by medical professionals, whether that's what they want or are comfortable or their families will go along with, it's just nonsense. And this is what happens when you're a traitor. And I want to be clear that that's part of my anger of all of these people. This Christina person is a traitor, but this Doug person is a traitor. And I mean that in like the vague general sense of just being a treacherous type of motherfucker who will betray you and stab you in the back and you shouldn't trust no matter who you are. But yeah, I also mean that specifically in the sense of literally being an agent of undermining our efforts at creating a peaceful democratic society here in America. These are bigots who want to help each other maintain a stranglehold on power for the explicit intent purpose of oppressing the rest of us. These are terrible people and they're fucking traitors. And Christina, I got nothing but love for trans people. And I got nothing but love for detransitioners. Because I got news for you. Detransitioning is a fucking transition. And in a society I'm trying to live in, you could transition, detransition, and transition back. Obviously, that's what some people need. So detransitioners are still part of the struggle. But if you're gonna get up in here and misrepresent the facts, misrepresent the movement, misrepresent the cause, misrepresent these people's lived experience, misrepresent the science, just so you can do the heavy lifting of the oppressor. No, fuck that. No, fuck that. We're not gonna tolerate that. And you're not gonna be able to fucking use your identity to shield you from it. Just like a motherfucking coon. We're gonna call you out. We're gonna be like, yeah, you black. And that's the worst part about all of this. Yeah, you're trans, and that's what makes this fucking even more unacceptable. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. No cap.
All over. And I think when like the power dynamics between like your healthcare provider and you, a patient, many of these people were a teenager when they transitioned or a very young adult. Like, of course, they're going to listen to their doctor. They did. I would do the same thing in that position. But no, like there is no real robust empirical evidence that supports like a biological basis for an innate kind of gender identity.
Lies. Pick up a biology book. Just literally, let me do this shit in real time because people think I'm fucking around. You type in that Amazon.com, it says search Amazon. You type in biology, gender. Boom, you get sex, gender, biology in the social world, human diversity, the biology of gender, race, and class, the end of gender, debunking the myths about sex and identity in our society, sex on the brain, myths of gender. Like what? And of course, the superstar, the one that's worth actually dropping a link on these fools about evolution's rainbow, diversity, gender, and sexuality in nature and people. Look, y'all, this is just what it is, okay? So we shouldn't be listening to nothing these fools have to say because they're lying and they're full of shit. It's basic science, and we teach it all the time at universities. These people are just trash. And then the fucked up part is they gonna try to misrepresent like they got some science and research that they did on their side. Like it's just trash.
A lot of them now will say that they were either misdiagnosed with gender dysphoria or that they did have gender dysphoria, but it resolved. But no, I think a lot of them, most of them feel very betrayed by the medical establishment because they were lied to about the nature of their condition, and now they're left with the consequences.
Would you characterize it as a false belief?
Again, I don't. And again, this is all such lies. But look at who we're doing this with. We got Peter Boghossian on here. We got Pinefreak Doug. We don't have to listen and engage with this shit. We know these are fucking bigots. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? If you're out there fucking listening, if you think you could just fucking lurk and make your little comments in Doug's fucking comment section, oh Doug, I really like the way you respected that person who thinks differently and you ask them difficult questions without judging them. Dog, ain't none of that shit working. We know you're a fucking Pine Creek simp. You know you're a fucking Doug bootlicker. We know that means you're a fucking bigot. Yes, you're gonna take that fucking stench. That stench is on you. There's no chance in the world we're dumb enough to think that Pine Creek Doug and Peter Boghossian are gonna do anything but sit down and be a bunch of transphobic bigots. And so if you think that you're gonna fucking show up in a different kind of space that isn't just a bunch of fucking right-wing assholes, and you're gonna fucking bring up some fucking concern about detransitioners, and you're gonna get anything other than flamed and thrown off the fucking island, change your expectations. You need to majorly adjust your expectations. And again, like, imagine pretending to be concerned about the minuscule percentage of people who detransition while not acknowledging that that literally means for the overwhelming majority of people, it is absolutely the right decision. And do they ever show any concern about how it is the right decision for the majority of people that is denied to them through the fucking hatred of assholes like them? Or do they ever acknowledge the fucking miraculous almost advancements in treatment and medication and socialization that we now have that allows people to thrive as their true selves? No, they don't ever want to say nothing about any of that. These are motherfuckers who have made hatred their entire fucking personality. So if you support them, that's what you're supporting. There's no longer any ambiguity. There's no longer hiding behind, oh, well, he does the Socratic method. Oh, well, I really like street epistemology. Get the fuck out of here. You really like bigotry. Bigotry, bigotry, bigotry. That is all you get with Doug is a big old tree. Okay, understand what I'm saying to y'all? It ain't about shit else.
Well, I mean, this is how trans is conceptualized to people today. That it's because of the success of the gay rights campaign, the Born This Way campaign, where I would say, like, yeah, I think gay people are born that way, but it doesn't apply to trans. Like a trans identity is something that people adopt, and usually after making social or medical steps in order to be perceived as opposite sex. But gender dysphoria is a psychiatric condition with a very high rate of desistance. And that hasn't changed.
But if there's like
lies, just more lies that are so counter the actuals and the factuals. And the worst part about it too, y'all, this was something I was thinking about covering today too, but it would take a little bit more time. And I think actually it's something I'd want, some other people to be here with me to cover is, this new fake group of doctors that are also putting out anti-trans, trans panic rhetoric that are calling specifically for the end of affirmative care for trans youth. Monsters, absolute fucking monsters. And again, I just don't have anything to say about these people, to these people. You're just a monster. You're just taking the most vulnerable people and kicking them while they're down. Except in this case, they also happen to be children. So triple go fuck yourselves. And there is no compromising with people like this. But that's the problem, is now we have to deal with these influencers and these personalities very much being in alignment with this sort of concerted effort of these moles to infiltrate the medical profession and then lie to people about medicine. Gang, if you ever needed proof that there's no God, if you ever needed proof that people don't fear the supernatural consequences of their evil behavior, these people are evil. And I don't care what they do. I don't care how divisive they say we're being. I don't care how much they call us out. I don't give a shit. These are evil fucking people. And if you support their shit, and yes, even if you support their right to say what they say, you're a piece of shit too. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? What the fuck are you talking about? We're not talking about whether or not people have the constitutional right to be full of shit. We've always known that America is a country largely full of piece of shit people who will always have the right, especially if they're white, to be a piece of shit. The question is, should we have any tolerance for people who are hateful and lie? The answer is no and no. And intelligent people don't even find that to be a topic worth debating. There is a difference between right and wrong, and we will judge people based upon how well their actions align with right or wrong.
Activists listening right now, they're throwing up in their mouth just like Peter was just recently. Because say, no, it's 1%.
Name. I need names. I need at least 5 fucking names. If you are going to bitch about what all the fucking trans activists do, I'm going to need 5 fucking names. And I guarantee you, he can't give me one. Mr. Show me some papers. Mr. Let me review some papers on my stream. Mr. Science. Name one fucking author on one fucking paper. Go. Doesn't know any of them. Name one actual trans activist. Go. Doesn't know any of them. What he can think of is trans people. And it shows you how stupid they are, that they don't know the difference between a scholar of a subject, like somebody who studies trans issues and does the research that is needed to provide the data and the science that we have on the topics, versus the activists who are the experts in the policy, in the communication, in the PR, in the messaging, who actually do the work of getting us as a public to move in the direction we need to do. And the actual trans people who have to fight assholes like you on the internet as a fucking means of survival. Those are not trans activists, you stupid motherfucker. Those are trans people. Just like I am not a trans activist, I'm also not really even trying to be a trans ally, to keep it $150 with you. I'm a trans friend. I have people in my life that I rely and depend on who are fucking trans. I throw down for them like I expect anybody else to throw down for me, or else why the fuck are we friends? But this motherfucker doesn't know any of those differences. Everybody that says something nice or cordial or even uses the correct pronouns of somebody they know is a fucking trans activist to this asshole.
10 or lower of detransitioners, people who regret
those studies are methodologically flawed, and they are studying an entirely different cohort than most people are concerned about today. They were studying like adults on a completely different model of care, rather than teens and young adults under the gender affirmation model of care. So those studies are completely useless. They say nothing about the current cohort that people are concerned about. There was like a comprehensive medical review of medical records recently in the last couple of years that found like 30% of teens and young adults discontinued hormone use after about 4 years.
Citing routinely debunked trash research. Again, just the things that these people say that if they said them in front of anybody other than their bubble echo chamber, they would lose all credibility immediately. And they're because again, gang, there's no way they could be right because they're advocating for hate. And then they're suggesting that science and medicine and research and all of these things are really somehow on the side of their hateful ass agenda. That's not how it works. It's only how it works with the fucking LARPers on your side that play at this. Those fake ass doctors that rather than being sincerely committed to the Hippocratic oath of doing no harm, have no real qualification or concern for other human beings. And instead, their entire agenda is just to do harm. Yeah, we don't treat people like that, like they're legit.
Which is much higher than 1%. And this is the actual cohort that people are concerned about. So
Yeah,
the journalists, they keep repeating the lie that it's, a very, very small proportion. But the truth is, like, we don't know. The detransition rate is unknown because gender clinics in the United States are not keeping track of the data.
How the fuck is it unknown? No, it's not. It is known. They've done massive studies of these things. It is fucking known, and it's low. And it's fucking low. These are these people, they don't have the data. They don't know. No, they do have the data. You don't like what the data says.
So we have no idea, really.
We have no idea, really. And it's cruelty. And it's abuse of science altogether. It is abuse of science. I keep telling this. What if the data was on these people's side? Who gives a shit? We have a moral obligation to do what is right by people. We have a moral obligation to create an equitable society where people are not discriminated on the basis of who they are. That means we have an imperative to supply every person with the psychiatric and medical care that they need based on their support network, their needs, and their medical team. That's it. Period. End of story. That means we have an obligation to provide these services and this type of care and support for trans people. The same way Joe Rogan's ass needs fucking HRT and fucking human growth hormone so he can feel like a fucking man, okay? Other people require care too. And I'm not even trying to pick on the man because who knows? I might need that. Any of us might need that. That shit, you know what I'm saying? When you get older, shit changes for real. But to say gender affirming care for me, but not for thee, that's where we have a fucking problem. And it's so annoying with these people who think we're gonna sit down and have a debate. We're gonna do some study, and then we're gonna do some research, and the research is gonna say, yeah, it turns out after all, it's a better idea to not provide people gender affirming care. Like that's just not how fucking medicine works, and they know that. It's all a distraction so that they can legitimize their cruelty. And the thing that we have to do is to just call them out, put their feet to the fucking fire. And when they whine and when they cry, we let them know that is what they have earned. Oh no, people are going to cancel me. You deserve to be canceled. This is hate speech. You deserve to have your platforms taken from you. You probably deserve to be fired. You deserve to have the people in your life no longer want to associate with you. That is the appropriate response to evil motherfuckers. You deserve for these platforms like YouTube to decide you can no longer use our platform to make money being hateful. That's what you deserve. You deserve to be called a bigot. You deserve to be called a transphobic, racist, ableist, sexist, homophobe, trash human being, because you are the definition and epitome of a trash human being. You have made being a trash human being your entire personality. So that's who you are, and that's what we get to call you as a result. Those consequences are a result of your behavior. And if you don't like them, fucking change. Because nobody cares. I don't have any sympathy for these motherfuckers. They deserve everything they have coming to them and then some. All right, y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. Come hang out and gather. We're going to try to have some fun tonight. Yeah, I'm about to go watch the NBA playoffs. Look, thank y'all so much for tuning in and watching the stream. I really, really appreciate it. If you got them people in your life that's still supporting this man, or other streamers or other people like this, it's time to let them people know what time it is. And honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. This goes for just generally speaking to conservatives. Like, I don't know, like, what are you doing being conservative right now? What are you really talking about? What are you really talking about? We talking about traitors. We talking about felons. Like, nah, I'm sorry, but like, they're not reasonable people anymore. There's none of this bullshit. And look, I'm gonna give y'all one more before I get up out of here, man. Stop letting people tell you that they with them people because they're anything other than cruel. And the number one thing, I shouldn't say the number one, but one of the number one things that they like to do is they like to talk about being fiscally conservative. Fuck that bullshit. You look them in the face and you tell them being fiscally conservative is a social policy. And what they're really telling you is that they support the status quo economic policies that are robbing us of our quality of life. And that is a cruel, cruel system. And that system was built to maintain the oppression and the marginalization of historically excluded groups. So it is the same shit. So just stop that. Because I'm tired of that. I'm so irritated by people saying, "Oh, well, yeah, I guess Trump's a fucking deranged lunatic who tried to fucking burn the country down to the ground." But I don't like taxes, and I think we need a better border policy, and I prefer Trump's. Stop. Look these people in the face. You're a traitor. You realize you're a traitor. You're a Confederate level traitor to these United States of America. And that's it, y'all. They're just fucking traitors. And they're terrible, trash human beings. Because that is the motivation of the people they support. And they know it. They know that the bigotry and the hatred is at the top of the agenda, and it is the number one energizing, motivating force of the people they support. And they are looking for some bullshit talking point that you will accept as an excuse to talk about something else. Don't accept no excuses. Don't accept none of that nonsense. Let them know exactly what you think of them. I love y'all. I'm going to be in Gather. I appreciate y'all for tuning in.